then I'll start seeing if people have questions. So everybody, my name's Courtney. I'm the study abroad manager at UW-Tacoma, and we're talking about the Peru program tonight. So Augie, go for it. Share, please.
I'm Augie Machine, and I'm the program leader for the study abroad to Cusco. I've taken study abroad trips several times to Mexico through UW through to Mexico and to Ecuador, and this would be the first time that we would be going to Cusco. We had the program previously that got canceled, um, so I'm happy that you're all here, and I hope you all get interested in going to Cusco in the summer.
Yes. Everybody that's here, you can ask questions in the questions using the question icon at the bottom. So feel free to ask questions as you want, or also, comment at the bottom. We don't have any questions or comments yet, Augie. So maybe I'll start with what are you most excited for students to experience in Cusco?
Wow, that's a big question. Cusco is such an amazing place in itself. It's the oldest city, the oldest living city in the Americas. People have continuously lived there for at least 3,000 years
Wow.
that we know of for sure. And obviously, it was started before that at some point. So, like just the place itself, we're talking about South America, and just going to Peru is sort of magical in and of itself. But then taking that next step to going to this really magical place within Peru is it's amazing. Everything, the whole experience. Being able to walk and touch places that have that history, it's really incomparable.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to mention the colonial history, and being able to walk to visit ruins from the Incas, all of that stuff. The homestays, you in our program, you stay with a host family. That's something that is usually a really amazing experience for students. And you know, I've had students before from other programs that make lifelong friendships with that. Often you're in a family where there's maybe adult children that are your same age, or cousins, or something somehow related to the family. So you get incorporated into their life and get to go to weddings and parties and things like that with other people your age. And so that opportunity to make friendships with these people that are just from this culture that is so distant from our own.
Mm-hmm.
For my perspective, I think the thing that is most exciting for me is to see, our program is focused on Spanish. So to see the immense strides in fluency that students make in this short period of time, it's just amazing. There's nothing that compares to that as far as taking classes is concerned, because you're taking the classes during the day, but then you're practicing with your host family, and you're practicing when you're out in the city, and you're hearing music and watching television, and everything is just contributing to that language learning. So it's exciting to have people go through that process and then see the change in themselves over
Mm-hmm.
over the course of just a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That's really exciting for me. Machu Picchu that's a that's a bucket list destination for people all over the world, and it's not for nothing that it's one of the seven wonders of the world, right? It doesn't disappoint. So you know the place itself, it's 11,000 feet up in the Andes Mountains. I'm from Colorado, and I thought I knew until I went to Cusco and saw the Andes, and that impressed me as even growing up in the Rockies. So it would be hard to say one specific thing. Just looking forward to this really amazing experience on many different levels for everybody. I see another caller in there too.
Yeah. So you'll already be used to the altitude, right?
No.
No. Okay, so
Like Denver, the mile high city, right? So that's
yeah.
5 feet, and Cusco is at 11,000 feet. So
Wow, that's
and,
crazy.
yeah, so it, like I said, I thought I knew what life in the mountains was like, and I did.
5280. What does that mean? Is that a zip code?
No, that's the elevation of Denver.
Oh, it's missing a number for the zip code. Got it. And actually, so I'm not seeing any questions yet. So y'all that are here, feel free to ask. While we wait for those to come in, Augie, you mentioned the Spanish language, and I would love it if you could sort of explain to students, one, how this can help them with their potential core requirements and things like that, and two, how they're going to be learning Spanish, like at the language school, class, right?
Yeah. So
maybe we should answer the question.
Answer my question really quick. It's 5 weeks. It's during the term of the summer, and we leave the weekend after finals week of the spring quarter. So spring quarter ends, there's the finals week, and then that weekend we would leave for Cusco. So just imagining like your summer starts out with this amazing trip,
mm-hmm.
and then we're back in time for the B term. So
mm-hmm.
we go the week before the A term, and then the whole 4 weeks of the A term, and then we're back for the B term.
June 12th to the 15th of July, I believe.
Right. So the way it works for Spanish, we typically have 3 different levels of Spanish that students will fit into one of. We have a beginning level, an intermediate level, and an advanced level. So pretty much, it's for everybody. You don't have to have any previous Spanish, or you don't have to have a lot of Spanish. Everybody will fit into one of those categories. And so you asked about how that would fit. So if you're a beginning student, then doing this program, these 5 weeks in the summer, satisfies your language requirement, right? If you still need 2 classes on campus, those are taken care of with this program. If you're a more advanced student, then can lead you into getting a minor in Spanish or majoring in Spanish. It's one of the degree requirements for a major in Spanish.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends on where everybody is at individually as to where it would fit into their plan. But I think, I was talking to a student today about that specifically, and aside from the credits, like this level of fluency that you gain from this experience is something that you can, take with you the rest of your life. Really, you really reach this, wherever you're starting out, you reach this level of competence and fluency by being forced to use it all the time that stays with you. So in addition to those credits, it's sort of like, starting you out on this lifelong skill that you can apply to whatever career you end up,
mm-hmm.
Whatever career you end up following.
Right.
And then there was another part of your question. I'm sorry that.
I think you answered it. So my question was, that this can fulfill, you answered it, that this can fulfill the core language requirements.
Right, but you asked about what are the classes like?
Oh, what is it like taking classes at ACLAS? I think that's something that students maybe don't understand before they look at it.
So the program is focused on Spanish. So it's immersion, intense program centered around Spanish. So the classes are small, like 3 to 5 students in each little group, and it's 5 hours a day, focused on Spanish, broken up with breaks, of course, and everything. And depending on what your level is, it will be some grammar instruction, some conversation, some culture classes. Maybe we'll, do cooking or dancing or something like that is related, and you're still practicing the book work in those times. So 5 hours a day. You have homework just like any other class, but that's the main chunk. And then after that, you have your free time to explore the city and put what you're learning in class into practice right there. Like you learn a new vocabulary word, you can go out and use it. When you go to the corner store to buy
Mm-hmm.
Inca Cola or whatever you're gonna have for that day.
Awesome. And I think they asked a question about what happens after July 15th.
Right, once you come back. So there's no instruction associated with the program after you return, unless you're talking about like then continuing on with classes at UW, right? So, if that's what you mean, then this training would be incorporated into where you would end up being placed to continue taking Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So, like for example, we've had beginning students, like they take the first year of Spanish, do the study abroad, and then that has allowed them to skip over the second year, the intermediate level. So then they come back and they start at the 300 level, like taking advanced classes in Spanish.
Right.
So once the program is over, that part is done, but then it fits into the rest of your study of Spanish if you want to continue.
Right. I think some students want to take take a class during summer B. So that is a possibility with this program. You can study abroad in Peru for your 5 weeks, then come home and take a class on campus. And that will potentially be financial aid eligible as well if you do that. So keep that in mind, everybody. Let's see. Everyone that's here, remember you're welcome to ask questions. Since we don't have any other ones yet, Augie, we talked about host families. I would love if you could shed a little bit more light onto that. I lived with a host family for my first study abroad experience, and it sounds cliche, but you said everything I still contact them. When I went back, they were like, oh, our 5th daughter's home. I still get like misty just thinking about it. So, but I think the things that students worry about is like, is this person going to be like giving me a curfew and, watching my every move and etc. So if you could maybe share more of what, why you think it's important and what students get out of it, I think that would be really helpful.
So just to start out with, we work with a school in Peru. So the classes that you're taking are taught by Peruvian instructors, and they have an established school there. And the school is the one that finds the host families. And in order to become a host family with the school, you have to have a referral from someone that is already a host family. So they have this safety net there in regards of who, they're not just randomly putting an ad out and asking people who wants to host. They're people that are known by the school that we work with. And then they go and do a home visit and make sure, they have a checklist of safety and living arrangements. So, the minimum standards for what they will accept in order to have somebody be a host family. So again, you're not just like randomly sent off and, you don't have any idea of what kind of situation you'll be in as far as living conditions goes. And then, as far as your interactions with them, some of them are more they're more hands-on, I guess. Not
Mhm.
not that's a bad that's a bad more involved is what I
More
meant.
involved.
Yeah. Than others. Some are more standoffish, just like everybody. People are different. Um, and that also depends on you. Are you somebody that
Right.
interacts with people a lot, or are you more private and you want to just go and, typically what we suggest is that you, the it's kind of standard that you eat the meals with the host family because that's a time when you can sit around and talk and you can, you know, you get to experience the culture and participate in that. And then how much you interact with them. Sometimes they'll invite you to watch TV with them, or like I said, you know, my cousin is getting married. We're all going to the wedding, so you're coming along if you want. It all depends on both of you, both
Hmm.
parties, the
Hmm.
student and the host families, what they're comfortable with. And the other thing I wanted to say is that if there's any problems with a host family, like you're just not getting along or you don't feel comfortable for whatever reason, then we just switch you out
Right.
and find you a different living situation, and it's no big deal. And we want you to be comfortable and focused on learning.
Right.
So if you're not somebody who talks a lot and you're with somebody with a host family that is constantly in your business, then we just move you someplace
Hmm.
else. You also get to fill out a preference sheet, like if you have, food allergies or food, if you're a vegetarian or something like that, and you want all of that stuff taken into consideration. So,
Yeah. And one of the students asked if they're spending a lot of their non-class time outside, outside of class time with the host family. And I think Augie alluded to the fact that if you want to, yes. If you don't want to, no.
right, your free time is yours. You can do whatever you want. You can spend your time in your room, or you can spend it with a family, or you can go out and explore the city, or go to movies. You can do whatever you want.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of Latin American cities are built around a central plaza, just like kind of an open space, and then the city is kind of built around that, and it's really it's a meeting place for people. It's a gathering place still in the city. It's where you can go there anytime, any day, and there'll be people there, you know, selling food and having parties and talking to each other.
Hmm.
There, if you want to go out and just experience the life in the city, that's a good place to go anytime.
Hmm.
And it's public, and you can it fits into that idea. You can do whatever you want with your free time.
Right. I will add two other things about the host family. One really cool thing that Augie said that I want everyone to pay attention to is that they are cooking food for you. So meals are included, which means that the program is cheaper. And also, you're getting that really amazing insight into the culture by people actually making this food for you. And another thing is that I found when I was a student ages ago, and I've heard other students talk about with host families, is they can help you with your homework, right? They are literally like your guide to Peru, to Spanish. So it's a really awesome resource to have.
That's something that's an important point that's different about this program than other programs where you may be going someplace and studying psychology, and you go to those classes and
Mm-hmm.
you're you're looking at how that functions in the country. But here, since the coursework, the material that you're doing is Spanish, then every little interaction when you're with your Uber driver,
Right.
going to a restaurant or whatever you're doing, every little interaction is practice with your homework,
Right.
basically.
Got
Yeah.
another question.
Um, so it depends on the program. 12 is our minimum, and then we would take probably 25 would be the maximum. But there's not really a set number other than, the minimum of 12.
Yeah, this program, when it was supposed to run in 2020, I think had about 25 students that were ready, preparing to go. So it really depends. Augie, do the students, when they're in their Spanish language classes, are they with other UWT students only? Okay, got it. So that's something to remember. You're also there with other students, so you can make plans with them as well, or be like, no, I'm going to go, to hang out with my host family or whatever. Another question, what's the food like?
Food, I mean, America, United States has an influence all around the world. So there are Kentucky Fried Chickens and in Peru as well, and Starbucks and everything. So you have that. Sometimes you just want to have something that's familiar to your stomach, and so you want to go and just get some nuggets or something like that. But then also, there's a lot of things that are common that would never have another chance to, perhaps. There's something like 150 different varieties of potatoes, for example. There's alpaca is a really delicious sort of beef-like meat. So eat alpaca. There's Peru has a famous dish that they've been making since the time of the Incas, which is guinea pig. Guinea pig is a food animal in Peru. So you can, and it's pretty common. So you can walk down the street and pop into a restaurant and have a guinea pig for dinner if you want, or your host family might prepare it for you. So you get some really what we would call maybe exotic foods that you hadn't considered before, like alpaca or guinea pig. But then also you have access to foods that you might be more used to. And Cusco is, because that's the destination city for Machu Picchu. It's a world destination site. You have people from all over the world coming there, and so they're used to having tourists there, and there's lots of food options for like that.
And so Augie, it's 8:01. Are you okay to stay a little bit longer since we started a bit late? Okay, great. I got a couple more questions. There is a misconception on campus that when you study abroad, that the coursework maybe isn't as challenging. And so I was wondering if you could share your insight on how the coursework on your program compares to, like taking a course at UWT.
Well, first of all, I would say and go on I'll just talk about this program, that you could go there, you could go to your classes, do your homework, and then, go to restaurants that cater to tourists and that all speak English, and hang out with other English speaking friends and never use any Spanish. So you could do that, and then it would be just like taking a class on campus here, and come home, and essentially you just took a class in a foreign country, basically.
Right.
So what I try and encourage everybody in the program, is to really take advantage of the situation and put 100% effort into it for these few weeks that you have. And we have a serious academic program there. It's for students that want to improve their Spanish. So when I said you could do that, we don't have students that do that, right? The students that go there are focused on improving their Spanish. Whatever level they're at, they want to gain fluency. So it's a rigorous program,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's challenging. It's 5 hours a day for 5 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's Spanish classes, right? And then just the mental strain
Yes.
of trying to use that Spanish and having to use that Spanish around it's rigorous and challenging,
Mm-hmm.
but you also reap this huge reward from it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's worth it.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really good point that we want to make clear with students when they're setting expectations, that especially with this particular program, because the goal is practicing a language, as you said before, you're using this all the time and it can be emotionally draining, but also so exciting because your brain is learning so much at such a quick rate, and you're doing this detective work all the time. So I think we want students to be prepared for being maybe like a little bit exhausted, but also equally so pumped. It's a strange mix, but it really is something that students should prepare themselves for. And also, Augie, we haven't talked about this yet, but I'm making an assumption here. I think a lot of students, UWT students, when they study abroad, they're shocked at the amount of walking that they're doing and just like the physicality of study abroad. So that's something else for people to consider, that, in the States, we don't walk nearly as much as most other countries in the world. So that's something to be aware, that you might be physically exhausted too.
Yeah, for sure. And you just think about when you go on vacation, you don't have your car handy or
Right.
something like that, and you just do more walking in general. And this is, you're living there, so
Right.
and that's also of particular importance to this program because the altitude will affect you. It affects
Mm-hmm.
everybody, and it's something that we have to take into consideration for the first week or so of really taking it easy,
Right.
not
Drinking
trying
water.
to run a flight of stairs. Um, it, it will drag you down.
That makes sense.
Something else that you said though, that the excitement, uh, that's really present. It's hard work, but when you understand that conversation that you couldn't understand before and you're able to participate in it, that's
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
exciting and rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
So as you go through the program, and the first week goes by and the second week, and you start to get your footing, and you're understanding more around you, and you're interacting with your host family, and you kind of got a rhythm down with them, and takes a little bit to get somebody's register, but then
Mm-hmm.
starting to really communicate, it's really rewarding,
Mm-hmm.
exciting.
Agreed. I'm getting jealous. One more question. What is one piece of advice that you'd give to a student who's thinking about studying abroad on the Peru program?
um, well, I would say for any program, I mean, I'm biased for our program, but I've talked about the different aspects of it. I think you know taking advantage of the opportunity to increase your fluency. That's the core thing. But for study abroad in general, I would say you know approach it with the mindset that you're going to the country to learn about their culture, not to bring your culture to them. So being open to that and being open to different ways of living, different, it's hard to imagine how it feels to be in this completely unfamiliar environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had this one of the experience that I point to all the time was like one going to Mexico once, and I had just arrived the next morning, and I went to take a shower, and I was trying to figure out the faucets, where was the hot water, and so I look and I see the C on the faucet there, and so I'm like, all right, I want the hot. But then I look on the other one and there's an F on there, not an H, like I'm expecting. And so it's like just even down to minute
Mm-hmm.
like that, you're just
Mm-hmm.
world is different.
Mm-hmm.
And so being open to that and like trying to set aside any preconceived notions and
Right.
trying to absorb as much of the culture as possible. I think that's the most important thing about our program or any program.
Mm-hmm. I have nothing to add. I agree with you. um, well, if anybody else has any last minute questions, I don't see any. A new person I think just joined. Augie, I'm just going to let everybody know before we might have a last question that for those who are interested, the deadline for the program is January 31st. So you have a lot of time to apply. I'd recommend students start looking over the winter break so they can get applications done, scholarship applications potentially. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to reach out to me. You can find us on, or me rather, on the Study Abroad website. And I know Augie is also there to support students. And Augie, your email address is amachine,
Right?
amachine at uw.edu.
And
Any other final thoughts? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if anybody wants to talk more about it, I have office hours 3 days a week, or I can do a Zoom call with you, or you can just send me an email. And I'd be happy to answer more questions about it. I have a lot of experience with study abroad, and I've dealt with a lot of different situations and different needs of students. So if you're hesitant because of something, let's talk it out and we'll figure out a solution. Or if you have just any other questions, feel free to contact me. That's it.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for joining, and thank you to Augie, and go Peru. Go to Peru. And
Thank
I'll
you.
be in touch with you tomorrow, Augie. Thank you.
Bye.